Welcome to Growing Younger podcast, where we guide you through your journey of reaching your fitness goals after 40. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the aspect of muscle strength that is possibly even more important than the strength itself. And this aspect tends to fade away twice as fast after the age of 50. Hi guys, my name is Alex Blazewski. I'm a physiotherapist from Growing Younger Fitness, and this is going to be the topic of today's discussion. So we're going to talk about power. So you might wonder, what's the difference between strength and power? So strength, purely strength, is just really your ability to produce force. Doesn't matter how fast you're able to do it, okay? With power essentially is force multiplied by speed. So force times speed. So it takes into account both of these things. Now, according to research, we tend to lose power at a much faster rate with age than we lose strength, okay? So this has been proven. So our ability to generate force or strength at a speed goes downhill the older we get. So you might be strength training, you might be going to the gym, and on paper, in theory, you might feel that you're pretty strong. You're able to lift a fairly heavy barbell, or you're able to even maybe do a push-up. But if you're not training for speed, you're missing out, and I'll explain why in a minute. Okay, so why is power particularly important after the age of 50? Now, let's think about a day-to-day scenario. So, for example, you're walking, suddenly you step into a pothole, and your body needs to. So normally the body would need to correct itself. So you need to correct your body positioning. You need to do it fast, because otherwise the gravity will take over and you'll end up on the floor. So you need to be able to put your leg out in such a way to regain that upright position. Now you obviously need to do it at a speed. You need to do it fast, because otherwise it will be too late. Now, another example would be, just think of you getting up from a chair or getting up off the floor. Now, it'll be very difficult if you try to do it slowly. Okay, so you need to do it fast. It's just part of the way your body works. Okay, so a lot of your day-to-day activities, they not just rely on your pure sort of muscle strength or your muscle's ability to generate force, but it also relies on you doing it fast. Okay, so speed is an essential part of what we have to do on a day-to-day basis. And unfortunately, if you look back over the last few decades, the fitness industry quite often has told us to slow down. Okay, they taught us to slow down as we do resistance training, as we do strength training, which is not entirely false, but I'll clarify it in just a minute. So speed is an essential part. You should be an essential part of your training routine. So some exercises you can do slowly for control, and other exercises you definitely need to have a speed component in it if you want the benefits of strength training to translate into your day-to-day life, and also if you want to stay functional for the years to come. Because like I said, power declines with age twice as fast as just strength. Okay, so you might be thinking, I can lift a pretty heavy weight, and you might be thinking I'm actually doing okay, but you may not be able to do it at a speed. So now I'm going to go and explain a little bit where you need to introduce speed in terms of your training. Okay, so let's say you're doing a push-up. Okay, whether you do it on the floor or maybe from the wall. So when the part of the movement that generates force, the part of the movement that requires more effort. So in this case, when you push your body up. Okay, so when you're pushing your body up off the floor or away from the wall, so that part of the movement requires more effort, and this is the part you should be trying to do at a faster rate. You should be trying to do it faster. Okay, now as you're coming back to your initial position, So that sort of descent, that can be slower, okay? So the part that requires more effort, we call it concentric movement, and the part where you're returning back to your initial position, we call it eccentric, okay? So the part that requires more effort should be done with a little bit more speed, because that's the part that's important, okay? This is when you generate a lot of force. Now, coming back down, that can be done slower, because slower controlled movement, it's safer for your joints, but also it may actually help to increase your muscle strength more effectively, and also it helps to lower the tendons in a more effective way. Another example would be if you're doing a squat, or maybe you're standing up from a chair. So the part where you stand up off the chair, or when you're rising up, that's the concentric part. So that should be, you should be training with a little bit of speed there, okay? Coming back down, you don't want to be sort of just dropping down onto the seat. You want to control that descent, okay? So you want to be slowing down a little bit on the way back down. So it's not black and white. You don't have to do everything with the speed. But that's the part that requires more effort. At least some of it you should be doing with a speed. And I don't mean that every exercise you do in the gym or you do at home that you should be doing really fast. Okay, so there's obviously you have to take other factors into account. If you're struggling with balance, or if you have injuries, you really need to take those into account as well. But at least some of your exercises, particularly the more functional exercises such as squats, step-ups, you should, if it is safe, you should be trying to introduce a little bit of a speed component to it in order for it to be more effective and give you more benefits in terms of your functional strength. So you can practice this today. If you're not doing it already, like you can do maybe a sit to stand. So basically get a normal chair, and just try to stand up, preferably without using your hands, if it is safe for you. So if you feel that you're capable of that, so stand up without using your arms, and trying to do it reasonably fast. So stand up, kind of give that sort of explosive movement, okay? So push yourself up, get yourself up reasonably quick, and then on the way back down, slow it down and kind of control your descent, okay? So this will be probably the simplest exercise you can try to improve your power in your legs in this particular case, okay? But then again, you can also do it with press-ups, you can do it with other sort of exercises targeting your upper body as well. Now, another tip I can give you is, so if you normally strength train and you might be using a heavier weight, okay, because you're doing it slowly, okay? Now, if you start to introduce a bit of speed into your movements, you may want to lower the weight, okay? Because if you try to do the same weight and also add speed at the same time, well, number one, you run a higher risk of injury, okay? And also your technique might actually suffer as well, because it just makes it a little bit too difficult for you to do the movement with a heavier weight, but also doing it fast, okay? So you might have to drop the weight a little bit, or resistance level, and then slowly build it back up again as your body starts to adjust to having that speed, doing the exercise with a bit of speed. Now, if you have injuries that you're worried about, or if you have balance issues, so you may have to be careful with adding too much speed into your workout. So I would consult with a physio or a sort of experienced personal trainer to make sure that you're safe, that you can do a speed component safely. Okay, so that's quite important. So as a bit of a summary, not all muscle strength is made equal. Okay, so slow strength is different from fast strength or power. Okay, now as I said, you may think that you are strong, and you might be strong, but you are not able to generate power or generate force at a fast rate. And this is important. This is actually even more important than normal strength when it comes to our day-to-day functioning. And as we get older, we need that ability to react fast. Okay, we need the ability to use our muscles fast to react to particularly external challenges. So for example, if you step into a pothole, you need to be able to react pretty quickly in order to keep yourself from falling. So power is an essential part of should be an essential part of your strengthening program. Great. So hopefully you picked up a few tips from this podcast, and I will speak to you on the next one.